I'm Brianna, and this is my speech on the effects that marijuana has on the body. I know we're in college, or, still in high school taking college classes, and we've gotten a lot of lectures about how marijuana is bad for you, how we shouldn't be smoking or doing all that. And this speech is going to go through pros and cons that marijuana has on the body. But first, let me tell you what marijuana is. Marijuana comes from a cannabis plant. The flowers, seeds, leaves, and stems are shredded and dried before they are used. A common name for marijuana is weed. Marijuana is most likely smoked, but also can be eaten, brewed to drink, or vaporized. Now that we know how it's made and how it can be used, I can tell you the pros and cons that marijuana has on parts of the body. The effect of marijuana on the respiratory system is questionable. We've heard a lot of things about how studies say that, smoking, not necessarily marijuana, but smoking can lead to lung cancer, and it's just a whole bunch of toxics and chemicals in your body. If you have a high risk of developing lung cancer and bronchitis, then you have a high risk of getting that from smoking. Anything. It can be marijuana, cigarettes, anything. Weed can also make asthma worse because it's just inhaling smoke in your lungs, and that's not a good thing to do. But there is no studies that say marijuana directly affects, your respiratory system. You may be able to smoke and you may be perfectly fine for the rest of, for your whole life smoking marijuana. There is no studies that say for sure that marijuana is horrible for your respiratory system. Marijuana has pros and cons when it comes to the circulatory system. When smoking, your heart rate can increase 20 to 50 times a minute, and this can continue for several hours. This could cause for a heart attack or develop heart diseases. But we can stop the growth of blood vessels that feed cancerous tumors. So your blood vessels can get smaller when you smoke, and it'll stop feeding that blood to those tumors or that cancer, and it can help you slow down your cancer from spreading. Let's talk about the central nervous system. This allows your brain to release dopamine, which is the feel-good chemical. When you smoke weed, you release that chemical, and that's what gives you that high feeling, that feeling good of relaxation and just feeling high, basically. Weed can affect your memory and judgment, and it may be a little impaired. I know I've heard stories where people smoke and then they walk and they see stuff, or things are slowed down, or they get a little dizzy. And smoking weed and driving is not safe because your vision can be impaired, your mind can be impaired, and your judgment can be impaired. When smoking while you're pregnant may mess up your child's brain development. Smoking is not a good thing to do when you're pregnant. It may cause for memory and concentration problems. When you smoke, your memory tends to be shortened, so imagine when you're pregnant and you smoke, your child's memory may not be as well as it would have been if you hadn't smoked. And when you smoke, you can't concentrate as much, so that may be a problem within your child too if you smoke while you're pregnant. Big amounts of weed at one time can cause hallucinations and delusions. It can also be the blame to depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems. So if you're unstable, I wouldn't smoke. It's just not safe. But a pro to smoking is if you do have cancer, or even if you don't, smoking reduces nausea, and it also gives you a level head. I know some people who do have anxiety, and smoking calms them down. And everybody's different. Everybody's body reacts differently to weed. So there are pros and there are cons to smoking weed. It seems like there's more cons than pros, but it all depends on who you are and what you're smoking for. If you're smoking just to smoke, it may not be the best idea. But if you're smoking because you have cancer, if you're smoking because you're always nauseous, or you're smoking because of anxiety, it may help. And that's the pros and cons, and the health and the effect that marijuana has on your body.